What is up, guys? Emmanuel Jones here, back at with another NFL record prediction. And this time, we'll be doing the New England Patriots 2022 record prediction for this season, give you my thoughts to see how many games the Patriots will win. So, in my game analysis and my thoughts to see how the Patriots are going to do. Whether either will they make the playoffs again? Will they miss out on the playoffs? Like, how better could they be? So before I give you my record prediction for the patrons, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see what you think the patrons are gonna do this year. Do you think the patrons are gonna make the playoffs? Do you think they're gonna miss out on the playoffs? Like, give me. So just let me know in the comment section below what you think your prediction for the patrons is. Well, all right, we're gonna get started. So, week 1. The Patriots gotta go on the road versus the Miami Dolphins. Now, we already know what the Patriots do in Miami. They always struggle versus the Dolphins in Miami. So we're gonna get out the way here and give the Dolphins a win here because they're at home. And and it kind of seems like since Tua has got drafted, it feels like Tua owns the Patriots. Like, yeah. But you know what? The Dolphins, like I said in this Bills video, that the Dolphins have a secret weapon in Tyreek Hill. So I don't really think the Patriots are going to have an answer for Tyreek Hill. So I feel like Tyreek Hill can have a big game here. So, yeah. So, that's exactly why I think the Dolphins are going to win. Now, next game, week 2, they got to go on the road versus Steelers. Now, this is a game right here that can go either way, though. Because the Steelers, they have a really great defensive line. But their offensive line is very sketchy. But they do have a great defensive line. And they can give Mac Jones some issues. But you know what? I think that when you look at the Patriots, look at the Steelers offense, like, I think they do got some receivers that can really cause the Patriots defense a lot of issues. You got Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and then you got George Pickens in the tight end. But the Steelers don't really have an offensive line. And I don't really know who the quarterback is going to be. Whether it's going to be like Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky. A rookie quarterback playing against a great defense like the Patriots, I mean, that's not good. But because I said this a while ago, this is Bill Belichick. This is a rookie quarterback playing against Bill Belichick. This is where Bill Belichick confuses a rookie quarterback, where he often thrives. But I know this game is in Pittsburgh, but I'm probably going to go with the Patriots here because I just think the Patriots are just a more complete team for right now. And, they have the quarterback advantage. I mean, they have the better quarterback, and they just have the better coach. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Patriots win. And also, I just think their defense finds a way to slow down the Steelers' offense. And I think that I think Mac Jones, I just feel like that their offense is just going to play good against the Steelers' defense. And I think the Patriots do have a lot of weapons on offense to, dice up the Steelers' defense. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Patriots will win. Next game, the Patriots got to play versus the Ravens. Now, this is another game that can go either way, but I remember in this game, the Patriots beat them. But I kind of really think that this game right here could be a mismatch game. Like, it could go either way. But I could really see New England win this game because they're at home, and they do have the weapons to dice up the Ravens' defense. But I don't really know, but the Ravens' defense is a lot better because they have a better secondary with great cornerbacks, with safeties, and I believe their defensive line is really good. So I think they can really get pressure on Mac Jones, and I think they can find a way to slow down the run. And plus, I don't know if Lamar Jackson, but I think Lamar Jackson is good enough to dice your defense up. I think they can dice the Patriots' defense up because since the Patriots don't have a number one corner, I just really think, that the Ravens offensively can move the ball well. But I know it's in New England, but I'm going to take the Ravens because I just think the Ravens have the better quarterback. the better. I mean, I just think they're the better team. So yeah, and I just think their defense can play good this game, and I think it's gonna do enough to slow down your running game, and stopping your passing attack, which I think their corners can cover. So yeah, that's why. But I wouldn't be shocked if they beat them. So yeah, that's why I think the Ravens win. All right, next game, week 4, they got to play versus the Packers. Now this game right here is very interesting though. But this is a Packers team with Aaron Rodgers. Now, this is a team where, the Packers, they don't got Devontae Adams anymore. So I just kind of really think that the Packers offense, I kind of feel like they're just going to be struggling. I feel like they're going to struggle, throughout, the beginning of the season due to the fact that Devontae Adams is not there. But on top of that, they don't really have a lot of good options at, receiver. As much as I love Christian Watson, especially they added Sammy Watkins, but I mean, their options at wide receivers are kind of overrated. I mean, yeah, but the Packers defense is really good, but not fantastic. But you know what? I kind of feel like there's a good chance that New England, can beat Green Bay because I kind of feel like the Patriots defense, because I don't really know if the Packers offense is going to be able to move the ball enough against this Patriots defense. But you know what? I give respect. Since it's in Lambeau Field, I give respect for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to give the Packers a win here because I just think the Packers are just a better team. They're at home, and they just got the better quarterback. So, yeah. So I think the Packers defense can come to play, and I think that, Aaron Rodgers, he should be able to, dice up the secondary. He should be able to slice and dice the secondary up. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Packers win. All right, next game. The Patriots got to play versus the Lions. Obviously, I got them beating the Lions. And the reason why is that, the Lions, they're just not that good. I mean, Jared Goff, the Lions got some upside. I mean, Jared Goff, he's a little okay, but he's nothing special. But I just kind of really think that the Patriots are just a better team. They have a better coach. They're at home, and I believe they have a better quarterback. Look, I just think Mac Jones is better than Jared Goff, in my opinion. I don't really think I don't think Jared Goff can do enough against this Patriots defense. So, yeah. And plus, the Patriots have tons of weapons that can cause the Lions defense some issues. So, I think they should be able to run the ball and pass the ball on them. So, yeah. So, they shouldn't have a problem with that. So, that's why I think the Patriots win. Next game, they got to play versus the Browns. Obviously, this is another challenging game. Now, I believe Watson's going to be playing this game for sure. But I don't really know. Even if he doesn't play, I could roll with the Patriots to win this game. But I just don't really know what to pick. This is a game where last year, when this game was in New England, that they beat the Browns with Baker Mayfield. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. But you know what? They're playing against the Browns team with a new quarterback in Watson. And the Patriots, they've been having trouble, stopping Deshaun, stopping Deshaun Watson no matter what team is he on. But you know what? The Browns are a team that like to run the football. And I don't really know they really have tons of weapons to dice up the Patriots defense. But they have a great offensive line. They have a great D-line. They have a great secondary too that can cover the Patriots' weapons. And I think they do have the defensive line. I don't think they have much of a pass rush, but I think their defensive line is good enough to slow down the running game. But if this game was in New England, I'll roll with the Patriots. But given that Deshaun Watson is playing this game and the game is in Cleveland, I'm going to roll with the Browns here because I believe the Browns have the better they have the better quarterback. They're at home. That's pretty much why I think the Browns will win. And that's a talented team right there. All right, next game, week 7, they got to play versus the Bears on Monday Night Football. I actually got the Patriots beating the Bears. And the reason why is that I just really think that the Patriots are just... I just think the Patriots are just a more complete team. They're at home. And, they have the better... they have a better coach. Bears, they're really not that good. Justin Fields has a lot of upside. But he's pretty good, but he just has a lot of upside. But, the rest of the team's not good. The offensive line's not good. The defensive there is not really good. The Patriots should be able to move the ball on the Bears defense. They should be able to do that. And their defense should be able, to like make some big time plays. That's pretty much why. All right, next game, week 8, they got to play versus Jets. Now, this is a game right here that can go either way. But given that this game is in, New York, I could roll towards the Jets because I feel like the Jets are probably going to be better than we expected to. But given that, given that, the Jets, Zach Wilson kind of has upside, but, they have lots to improve, but I feel like the Jets are going to be really, I feel like they're going to be competitive, though. But I kind of feel like the Jets kind of do have a chance to beat the Patriots. But I know it's in New York, but I'm just going to say that, the Patriots are just going to sweep them this year. So you played in week 8, and then after the bye, you played in week 11. I'm going to say you sweep the Jets. Because I just don't think the Jets are there yet. Since the past 2 seasons, since the last 2 games, Bill Belichick, he has coached circles around Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh seems like he's really not a great coach. I kind of feel like he's going to be on the hot seat soon. Who knows? The Patriots are just a better team. They have a better coach. They have a better quarterback. That's pretty much why. Then week 9, you got to play versus the Colts. Now, this is a game right here that can go either way. Now, I just kind of feel like, this can go either way. This is a game last year. It was in Indy last year. I thought the Colts did a really good job, stopping their running game, taking away the passing game. I thought their defense did a really good job. But, you know what? I just kind of feel like, this could be the Gilmore revenge game. But, the Colts, got a lot better this offseason. They got better at quarterback. They got better at the defense. We can see the Colts winning this game because I think their defense can be good enough to stop. I don't really know. I'll probably come back to that one. Then week 12, they got to play versus the Vikings on Thanksgiving. Now, this is another game that can go either way, though. But I think this game right here is going to be close, though. But you know what? The Vikings offense is very strong. I like the weapons they have with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Galvin Cook. I love the weaponry. But the offensive line is still suspect. Defensively, I think they've gotten a lot better at the linebacking position or edge rush. But I think the secondary is okay by bringing back Patrick Peterson. But you know what? If this game was in New England, I would go roll with the Patriots here. But I think the Patriots could have a chance winning this game because, of the weapons they have on offense. And they can really expose the Vikings defense. But you know what? Kirk Cousins seems like he's a borderline, top 10 quarterback. And I think he's really good where he can extend plays. And I think he can find a way to dice up the Patriots defense. Especially the Patriots don't have number 1 corner who can cover. So I'm going to take the Vikings here at home because I kind of like Minnesota's a tough place to play at. And I just think the Vikings, they're at home and then they have the better quarterback. And I just really think that your offense, I feel like they'll do enough to like move the ball against your defense. So yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Vikings win this game. All right, next game. The Bills, they gotta play a Thursday again, and it's gonna gotta play versus the Bills. Now, in the Bills game, I had the Bills. I mean, I had the Patriots winning the first game, and I had them losing the last game. I mean, if I had to say the Bills are gonna win the first game, I mean, I could definitely say the Bills can win the first game and the Patriots win the last game, so the Bills can rest their starters. But I could totally change my mind on this one. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm probably just gonna say that, since New England's at home on Thursday and home teams always win, I'm probably just gonna say the Patriots are gonna win the first game, and then I'm gonna say they lose the last game to the Bills. So I actually got them splitting with the Bills due to the fact that the Bills are just gonna be a good team and they're fighting to be that number one seed, and the Patriots, I know they could be fighting to make the playoffs. I don't really know. Then they on a short week 14, they gotta play the Cardinals on a short week. You got practice. They got playing practice time and all that. I mean, they gotta play it on a Monday. I mean, this is another game that can go either way though, because now this is Mac Jones versus Kyler Murray. Now, it's kind of a trap game because I don't really know what to pick here because both of their offenses are really good. I mean, both of their secondaries are sketchy. Defenses, I mean, the Cardinals defense, it's gotten a lot worse. Because they got rid of Chandler Jones. And the Patriots defense is still okay, but it's not great. But I don't really know what to pick here. You know what? I want to say the Cardinals can win this game because I believe they do have the weapons offensively. I think they do have tons of weapons that can move the ball against that defense. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. But I wouldn't be shocked if they beat them. But I might come back to that one too. Then week 15, they got to play versus the Raiders in Las Vegas. Now, this is a Josh McDaniels revenge game. Could be, though. But this is another game that can go either way, though. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots win this game because they do have the tons. Because, both of their secondaries are very sketchy. And I think the Patriots offensively, I think they can find a way to move the ball against that Raiders defense because the Raiders secondary is really not that good and they don't really have any corners to cover. But I think the Raiders, with that defense they got and, with the weaponry they got with Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller as a special trio, I'm going to say the Raiders are going to I'm going to say the Raiders win this game here since it's in Las Vegas. I'm going to take the Raiders to win because I believe the Raiders, I don't really think the Patriots have a number one corner that can cover Devontae Adams because I just kind of feel like Devontae Adams is going to have a big game. Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. I just kind of feel like that weaponry for the Raiders is going to be too much for the Patriots defense to handle. And I think Derek Carr is going to pick apart that Patriots secondary. He should have a nice game there and all that. And I just think their defense can come to play too, like slowing down the run and get pressure on Mac Jones. Yeah. That's pretty much why I think the Raiders will win. All right, next game. They got week 16. They got to play versus the Bengals. Now, this is a game right here that can go either way, though. It's on Saturday, but now this is a game right here that can go either way, though, because the Patriots have a really good defense, and they can find a way to give Joe Burrow a tough time. And I think the Patriots offensively, I think they do have a chance to win this game because I think offensively, I think they can do enough to move the ball against the Bengals defense. Because I don't really think the Bengals defense, it's okay, but it's not great. But on the other hand, the Bengals got tons of weapons on offense. and they can really cause the Patriots defense problems. But I think the Bengals defense can come to play this game too, like getting pressure on Mac Jones and all that. But I know this game's in New England, but I'm probably gonna go ahead and just, take the Bengals to win this game, because I just think the Bengals are just a better team. They have a better quarterback. And I just really think that that the receivers that they have is going to be too much for the Patriots secondary to handle, and I don't think they have a number one corner that can cover him. That's going to be able to cover Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Those guys are just tough. Yeah, I feel like they're just tough to cover. So that's pretty much why I think the Bengals win. Next game, the Patriots got to play versus the Dolphins. Obviously, they're going to split with the Dolphins. There's no way. They're not going to lose twice again to the Dolphins like they did last year. It's not going to happen. Because, Bill Belichick, he has owned the Dolphins for years. Since he's been there. So, yeah. And plus, the Patriots, you lost to them. They lost them early in the season, and I think they beat them this time. And plus, the Patriots, they're at home and all that. They have a better coach. And I think both teams can be similar, too. That's pretty much why. All right, we're not really done yet with the predictions. Now we gotta get to those last two games that I missed on. Is the Colts and Cardinals. So as I'm kind of looking at these, I'm probably gonna say that they're probably gonna at least lose to one of these teams. Like, I think they're gonna at least win two. I think they're gonna at least win one of them. So wait, what's the record? Gotta look at the record. So they're sitting at 7-8 right now. So as I'm looking at the last two games I didn't predict yet, I'm probably going to say they're going to at least win one of these games. They're not going to lose both of them, but they're going to at least win one of them, but I don't really know. You know what? I'm probably just going to say they're just going to get their revenge on the Colts and just beat the Colts, because I just really think that, the Patriots offensively can move the ball well against that Colts defense. And I think they can give Matt Ryan some issues. Like, I remember when he was there, when he was on the Falcons, they gave Matt Ryan tons of issues. And I think the Patriots offense can move the ball against the Colts defense. So, yeah, that's pretty much why. And then week 14, they got the Cardinals. This is a game where I can see them lose too. I know it's in Arizona, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. I just don't know if I can take Cliff Kingsbury over Bill Belichick. I just don't know if Cliff Kingsbury is that great of a coach, like, for real. So, by the way, I'm going to say the Patriots are going to beat the Cardinals on the road because I just kind of really feel like that the Patriots are just a more complete team. I just think they have the better defense. And I just think Mac Jones, he should be able to at least pick apart that Cardinals secondary, which is not really good. And they should be able to move the ball against that defense, and they should be able to, like, pass on them. So, yeah. And plus, they have a better coach than they're at home. And I just think, both two teams are kind of similar too, but I don't really know. I'm going to say the Patriots are just a better team. That's pretty much why I think the Patriots win. So, by the way, I have the Patriots at 9-8, which that's kind of a really pretty good record right now. They're ranked third in the conference, but how? Like, there's no way they can be ranked third, but I don't think they're ranked third. But 9-8 is kind of a good record, though. So I say this could be looking outside. So I say they're looking outside. They outside looking in. So they're 4-2 in the division, 6-6 in their conference, 6-2 at home, 3-6 away. That's just pretty good. So when you look at the teams their schedule, when you look at the teams they got to play in their schedule, this could be a really tough schedule too. Because you got to play the Dolphins twice, the Bills twice, you got to play the Steelers, the Ravens, the Packers, the Browns, the Colts, the Vikings, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Bengals. I mean, the Bills twice. I mean, when you look at the schedule, it's pretty tough. Because you know, the Patriots, I just kind of feel like the Patriots are just going to have almost a bad year. But I'm going to say they still have a good year, despite them missing the playoffs. But I just have a feeling that they could miss the playoffs, though, because, due to the fact that, hey, they lost the number one corner. And I don't really think they really have a true number one wide receiver for Mac Jones. But like I said, like if they get a true number one wide receiver for Mac Jones, they would jump. But you know what? I would be surprised if they win this division because, I have respect for the Patriots. I have respect for the coach. Yeah. But I just kind of feel like this year is probably just going to be almost a good year for the Patriots because of the coaching. And I feel like Mac Jones could be on the rise, and he's been having upside lately. So, yeah. So, I feel like the Patriots, they can make this jump into playoff territory, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did. They did a good job last year making it. But you know what? We'll probably see what happens, though. But it depends on how they do. Well, it's Emmanuel Jones from The Big Fan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And don't forget, if you disagree, agree with me, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you think I'm right or you think I'm wrong? Just let me know in the comment section below, like what your opinion is on the Patriots. It's Emmanuel Jones from Big Fan. I'll see you guys later. Peace.